to listen to the Lap Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 238 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We are 10 for 11. That's pretty freaking sweet. How much longer will that trend, the parody, continue? I'll talk about that. Got your feedback and all that and more coming up on this week's show. Let's start off real quick. So sad that, the passing of Eric McClure a couple days ago. Who would have thought, bummer, so early in life and all that kind of stuff. It's totally sad. And, man, if you haven't seen the obituaries posted on jski.com and just some great words there and all that kind of good stuff posted about him, his life, his family, all that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but good stuff about him in terms of celebrating his life and all that. And, man, just, tough for the sport when something like that happens. And, it just makes you step back and put things into perspective. That's for sure. All right, let's keep going here and brighten things up a little bit. Man, the weather here in Metro Detroit still cannot make up its mind. And you'd think after 38 years, I would be used to all that. But all of us Midwesterns can relate to spring fever. You go from the cold winter months to 40 to 50 degrees, and you get teased with a beautiful 75-degree day in March a couple times, in April. And, here we are, May now. Can't believe it. And, it's still nasty out. But this weekend, we got some of that teasing and had a great weekend. Got a round of golf in on Saturday. One of my personal bests, which seemed to be happening more and more, which was great. I will gladly take 3 birdies and 6 pars through 18 holes. Broke 90, which is freaking awesome. Got rid of those couple 8s I had a couple weeks ago. So as long as the rounds stay like that, I will be very happy. Unfortunately, the deck project is still going on. But the good news is they should be done tomorrow, and the grill and the smoker can come back out to play, and we can smoke some meat and get back to normal. I'm pumped. Let's see here. We had the draft last Thursday. Lions did not take a tight end, so all is good there, and I'm sure I will talk a little bit about that. Catch me Friday morning back on 92.9 The Ticket. Friday morning, 7:30. You can listen. You can stream it live, or you can go and listen through the website and all that good stuff whenever you want. I'll tweet that out. So go check out 92.9 The Ticket Friday morning. Let's see. Hope you guys enjoyed last week's show with Matt Tift as he talked about his health, NASCAR, team ownership, and all that good stuff. As I mentioned last week, the next J-Ski bonus show with Dustin Albino will be after Dover. We'll get Dustin back on. He's an Xfinity Series guy, so thought it'd be perfect to do a full show dedicated to the Dash for Cash and to talk about the Xfinity Series here basically halfway through the season. So we'll get that going after Dover. So if you got any questions and all that good stuff, get them over. Also, I was asked about a bonus show with some listeners call-ins. I haven't done a listener call-in show in quite some time. I think the off season, and so we might be due for a listener call-in show over the next couple weeks at some point in time. So we'll get that dialed up as well. But tonight, got a great show. Spencer Boyd is back along with his sponsor from this past weekend at Kansas, 5 Lakes Coffee, which is based right here in Michigan. So I jumped on that opportunity. So we'll get those guys dialed up here in just a minute. Got your recaps from Kansas, social media shout outs. Getting close to that 5,500 follower mark, and you'll find out how close in just a little bit. Neudorff will be on with the weather for Darlington, Lucky Dog, Lap Down, and Fantasy. Ooh, what happened in Lap Traffic Fantasy? Well, you're just going to have to stay tuned. How's that for a teaser? All right, let's get things rolling. Let's get Spencer Boyd and the guys from 5 Lakes Coffee on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, a few guys here today, which is always awesome. First, making their first appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast are the co-founders of Five Lakes Coffee, based right here from the great state of Michigan. It's Jared and Paul. Jared, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Good morning. Glad to be on here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Welcome.
Doing great. Thank you.
Excellent. Listen, Michigan, I got to get this out of the way first just to know if I got to end the call now or not. Are we maize and blue or are we green and white?
I think this is a house divided right here.
All right, then. That means it's 2-1, so we're good.
Yeah. So Paul is green and white. And Jared is maize and blue.
All right. Well, hail to the victors.
Yeah. We know who it is this year.
And the other guy making his fourth appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast featured the Fist of the Angry Brew this past weekend at Kansas. He is the driver number 20 with Young's Motorsports. It's Spencer Boyd. Spencer, what's up, man? Welcome back.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Listen, all right, so we got lots to talk about. We're going to talk some racing. We're going to talk some coffee and the great state of Michigan. Spence, man, let's start with you. Talk a little bit about being back at Young's Motorsports as really the veteran guy now.
Yeah, this is my third year driving the 20 truck, so really just building the brand around YMS and the 20 for me and having a lot of fun. This is a family-owned team. We're one of the smaller guys out there, so the fact that we're taking 3 trucks to the racetrack every week, we're growing, expanding, and having a lot of fun at the same time.
Absolutely. No, it's been fun to watch you guys grow as an organization. I kind of view you guys as like the colleague racing of the truck series, and you guys, week in, week out, you can see the improvements out there, and it's been a lot of fun to watch you specifically and the organization and all that. Talk a little bit about the, your leadership role with some of the younger guys that are with Young's right now.
Yeah, it's strange to hear that term. I still feel young, being 25 years old. This is my 6th season in NASCAR, and like we said, 3rd here at YMS. So it's nice to kind of make some roots. A lot of guys, come through the truck series, and they're flash in the pan. So feel fortunate to have stuck around this long. But a lot of young guys come to YMS and learn, and that's fun. I've met a lot of guys, become friends with, Tyler Dipple, Gus Dean, in our first year here together, a couple years back. And then last year, Tate started here. Tate comes from, big pedigree of, NASCAR drivers and family. So it's been fun. Tate's back here for a second year. We really know each other and work well at the super speedways together. So we're looking forward to those. Daytona was a blast. And then we got a new guy, Chris Wright, coming from the Northeast. He's running pretty much all the races in the O2 trucks. So, like I said, we've all become friends. It's a big family over here, and it's fun to answer questions and try and help out some of the younger guys. And then, Tate and I, he's really good at these 1.5 miles, so he's kind of helped me out.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's a great organization. I love that. I love what they're doing over there. Jared, Paul, let's talk about Five Lakes Coffee. You guys have coffee with the punch. Reading the press release for Spencer, you guys have coffee products. It seems like for the working people that need that extra, pick me up in the morning, and if that doesn't fit to Michigan and Michiganders and all that kind of stuff. When I saw the fist on Spencer's truck this weekend, I thought about the fist of the Detroit statue, which is iconic to Metro Detroit. Talk about the coffee, what it means to have a company based here in Michigan.
Well, we're born and raised in Michigan, so it's great for us to be here and be supported by Michigan and just be a part of Michigan. We love bringing fresh roasted coffee to this state and to our customers. And then the Angry Brew, it's got the extra caffeine and the punch to get people going, and especially you're on a Monday morning when you're getting back to work and you need a little extra caffeine. It's great to have that, and people come into our coffee shop and get that or brew it at home. Right, it's great for the third shifters too.
Where can people find your products? Now, you guys do have some shops, but for from a store perspective and all that, where can everybody find Five Lakes Coffee?
Well, we've got 7 stores open right now. We're getting ready to open our 8th one in Kalamazoo, Michigan later in June. But the easiest way to get Angry Brew is just visit angrybrew.com. And, of course, we roast it when people order, and we get it shipped out within 24 hours, as long as it's not on the weekend, of course. And that's the easiest way. We ship it all over the United States, and it's at your house pretty quickly, and people are really enjoying it. You know, it's our number one brand as well. So we've got a number of coffees through 5 Lakes, but this specifically we designed to be highly caffeinated. And for those that want the extra caffeine, the extra punch, the working man as well. So angrybrew.com is the quickest and easiest way if you're not near us.
That's awesome. That's great. Spence, talk a little bit about your night at Kansas Saturday. Unfortunately, found yourself battling from behind a little bit early on there, but talk about your run Saturday night.
Yeah, it was tough from the start, really. It really sucks when that happens. And on the start, at Kansas, you kind of, typically you can use the apron to pass people down the front stretch. But on the start, you got to be cautious. You can't duck out of line before the start-finish line. And the inside lane checked up pretty hard. And Timmy Hill and I jumped low. We may have passed a car or two and ultimately got penalized, which meant we had to come down under green flag and do a pass-through penalty on pit road. And I can tell you, rolling down pit road at 45 mile an hour when everyone else is doing 180, that is not a good scenario. So started behind the 8 ball for sure. And then throughout the night, just was trying to battle back to get to be 1 or 2 laps down. We took the wave, which helped us tremendously. But then we had to run the whole second stage on the tires from before, from the first stage. So that was tough. When you take the wave, you can't pit. So it was definitely a strategy call I felt was the right one. But a caution didn't come out. So that definitely made me angry and had to pit with about 10 laps to go on the stage to get fuel. So ran out of fuel going down the backstretch, came down pit road. Obviously, these cars don't have speedometers. You read the tach. When you run out of fuel, the tach doesn't work because the motor's not on. So I was guessing if I was at 45 mile an hour on pit road, sped the first segment, which meant I could stop and get fuel, which I did, and then had to come back through and do another pass through. So unfortunate night. I felt like NASCAR kind of got me on the first call, but ultimately I kind of put the nail in the coffin there, speeding on pit road. So frustrating night for sure. Definitely could have used some Angry Brew to keep me going and fight through the end.
I was so torn watching the start of that thing because, like you said, it bottlenecked up. So at that point, NASCAR wants you basically, because they gave you the penalty, I interpret that they want you to then just bump in and possibly damage the front of the truck when something like that happens versus avoiding it and getting going. Like, it wasn't your fault it was bottlenecked up at the start there. It was everybody in front of you. You're trying to avoid it, and if you're able to get up to speed faster, that should be something I think that NASCAR definitely is able to take under a little bit more review and make a better judgment call there, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, it's definitely a judgment call, and I've probably been on both sides of that at some point, so it's hard to get frustrated. But realistically, when they check up like that, you're in such a vulnerable spot, knocking the radiator in and ending your day on lap 1. Sure. And I've had that happen to me before, where there was just no exit strategy. So your quick reaction is to jump low and get out of line, especially when you have that available being on the inside, and Kansas being so wide. So it was unfortunate that happened. Next time may not be as easy going, and you don't want to wreck somebody intentionally, but you can't start behind the 8 ball getting a penalty, so it might have to be a little more aggressive next time.
Sure. No, I hear you there. Let's talk real quick. I know we're headed to Darlington this week. Last year was the first time the trucks had run there since 2011. How cool is it going back there to race on one of the most iconic and older tracks on the NASCAR schedule? Yeah,
Darlington is such a fun track. It's so narrow. Tire fall-off's big. It's a fast place, another 1.5 miles. But really, the racetrack's cool, but the whole excitement comes from throwback weekend.
Of course.
Getting the throwback to past champions, cool paint schemes. Give you a little info. We just announced about 10 minutes ago. I'm throwing it back to 3-time Truck Series champion Jack Sprague. Over the last few years, no one's done a throwback to him. And the guy that designs all my stuff, Maselli, has been designing my cars for 6 years now. That was the first vehicle that he designed that won a NASCAR race. So excited to have Credit MRI jump on. Not every sponsor wants to run someone else's paint scheme from 10 or 15 years ago.
Yep.
So we're doing that. We're going to have fun. The last couple of weeks have been really exciting. Going back home to Kansas with Angry Brew Coffee, we had a really killer paint scheme that I had a big influence on. So I really like that. That was something that was kind of in my head. And then moving over here to doing the throwback to Jack Sprague, just throwing it back to the history of NASCAR.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Always probably give you a little extra pickup in your step with the coffee and the fact that you got a throwback ski on. That's awesome. I love it. Jared, Paul, guys, talk about why it made sense to get into NASCAR and to partner with Youngs and Spencer. I know we talked a little bit before we started recording, that you guys have been fans for a while of the sport, but talk about getting involved in the sport with your brand.
Well, this is Jared. For me, I remember as a kid, my first time at MIS and getting to camp there the whole weekend and just the whole experience of NASCAR, the sound of the cars. And I remember watching, kind of what sticks in my memory is just watching Bill Elliott. He was behind, and just every lap he was passing somebody. And by the end of the race, he had won the race. And that experience just kind of made me a NASCAR fan my whole life. So, I've always been paying attention, watching NASCAR. And Paul and I always, once in a while, we joke about having our logo on a truck or car, and but never thought it'd happen. And then when Spencer reached out to us, and we just kind of connected, and seemed to be a good fit. It was a pretty cool opportunity for us, and we were really excited about it.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, we've been fans for a long time. And of course, the guys I follow, I'm a little older. They all started retiring, and so the trucks have become pretty exciting, and that really kind of fits with Angry Brew. It's tough. In fact, Jared drives the truck. I won't confess to having a minivan because that'd be embarrassing, but he's got a big truck with an Angry Brew sticker on it. So, it just made sense, meeting up with Spencer, and we really like Spencer. We like what he does, what he stands for. He's a sports and military and service guys and hunting, stuff like that. So there's a real connection there. And then just the toughness of the truck race. And like you said, the fist, the working, the iconic working class of Michigan and Detroit. So it made a lot of sense for us. We're really proud to see it on Spencer's truck.
That's awesome. You guys mentioned a little bit ago, that you guys have a new place opening in June in Kalamazoo. Where are some other hot spots in Michigan that Michiganders can find you guys?
Well, we're in our hometown of Sturgis, Michigan. Kalamazoo opens in June. We're also looking at another location in Kalamazoo that may be at the end of the year, beginning of next year. So that'd be a second location. We did open one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which isn't exactly Michigan, in November, and we're meeting on a second place down there as well. So, and then quite a few of our stores, we live right on the border of Michigan and Indiana, and quite a few of our stores are actually in Indiana also.
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Spencer, man, hey, couple tracks coming up that you've really excelled at in the past. Texas specifically coming to mind. What can you do to make sure you get the most out of the truck to play into your favor?
Yeah, so we're bringing a couple trucks that I really like. Felt good about taking truck 14 to Kansas. So excited to take that truck to Texas. Like you said, it's a track that means a lot to Young's Motorsports, being a family from Texas and still owning businesses out there. And it tends to be a track that I run well at. Darlington was good to us last year, and typically have good showings at the road courses. So excited for what the rest of the month has in store. Tough that my home track at Kansas City wasn't too good to me, but we'll keep rolling forward and just trying to get better finishes.
Absolutely. When you look at, tracks that you maybe how far ahead do you get for you personally? Are you a man, I got to just focus this week, or do you circle some things on the calendar down the road, knowing that's going to play to your bread and butter a little bit?
Yeah, obviously I'm the type of guy that circles the super speedways for sure.
Sure.
But really, I kind of live month to month, looking at whether it's a month where we have 2, or maybe, some months we have 4 races. You kind of pick 1 or 2 that, like, I got this, feel confident at these tracks and comfortable. And then the ones that you're not as comfortable at, what can I do to get more prepared, talk to some people, kind of realize, hey, I don't want to think about this a week before the race. I kind of want to start talking to some veterans now, start watching some footage now and try and get prepared. So this month looks to be a good one. Excited to get the momentum rolling. We had some speed at Kansas there late in the run, so that was good to see. But realistically, just got to limit mistakes. The last couple of weeks, the mistakes have gotten us, and this week it was on me.
Sure. No, I hear you there. Hey, it happens, right? To the best of them out there. Jared, Paul, we saw you guys debut a Michigan company at Kansas. It's a bummer that MIS lost the truck race this year, because the trucks at MIS always put on a fantastic show. Hopefully we'll see the trucks back at MIS soon. You guys mentioned that you guys will be on the quarter panel for Spencer for another few races. What's some of the next races that we're going to see that fist on Spencer's quarter panel?
Well, this is Paul. We're bummed out that MIS is closed, but in working with Spencer, we're excited about that. And Kansas City is not that far away from us. It's here in the Midwest. I actually got to go down for the weekend, and it was my first in-person race. So it was really exciting. And, when they started, I just thought Spencer was trying to impress me when he dropped down on the start and get ahead of people. But little did I realize what was going on until later. So I thought he was just going to race up there into the front spot on the apron. So that just shows my ignorance, I suppose. But I was proud of him and really excited. So it was exciting to be in Kansas City. It was really a cool track. It was a great experience. If we get a chance, MIS would be great as well, obviously. We have family that lives near there, so we know how busy that place gets on race weekend. And I'm not sure which races upcoming the Angry Brew will be on the truck. I know it's a few more, and I don't know if Spencer can answer that or not.
Yeah, so we're kind of figuring out which ones are going to be best. We're excited to get it out there. We got a few more races in the Midwest. One of the biggest dirt races of the year is going to be in Iowa. So I'm sure that'll be a good spot for us to do it at. With angrybrew.com being available to everybody nationwide, it's a good opportunity to get on TV anywhere. So kind of make up for a tough Kansas. We need to make sure you're on some races where we're going to have some good performances at.
All I'm going to say is... Oh, go ahead, guys.
I was just going to say, we did get a call out from Michael Waltrip on that start, though, about being angry. So we thought that was pretty fun.
That was hysterical. And I will say, listen, I'm not sure how up you guys are on the diecast game, but a raced win from the dirt track would be awesome with that angry brew covered with some dirt on a race win diecast. I'm just saying that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, a little mud would be good, huh?
Yes, sir.
We are from the Midwest. Gotta love a little dirt.
Right? Absolutely. All right. Guys, man, this has been a blast. Listen, Jared, Paul, tell everybody where they can follow you guys on social media, website, and all that good stuff.
So we're on Instagram as Angry Brew and Facebook as Angry Brew. And then we're also on both Instagram and Facebook as 5 Lakes. And also websites, we have 5lakes.com and angrybrew.com, where you can find our fresh roasted coffee and order on those websites.
Awesome. Spencer, where can everybody keep up with you and what you got going on?
Yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place. So on Facebook, it's Spencer Boyd Racing fan page, Twitter, Spencer Boyd, Instagram, Spencer Boyd PR. So check it out. I run all the social myself, so we'll have some fun, and it's always fun to interact with NASCAR fans.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Jared and Paul from Five Lakes Coffee. Go get yourself some Angry Brew. Hey, support Michigan, right? Come on. And huge thanks to Spencer Boyd with Young's for calling in. Guys, it was great to have you on. Spencer, great to have you back. Good luck this weekend at Darlington. Look forward to talking with you all soon.
Hey, thank you. We appreciate it so much. Thanks for having us on, and thank you.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you, guys. Talk soon. Appreciate it, boys.
We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. Great to get Spencer Boyd on, and love talking to some Michigan brands. That's for sure. Five Lakes Coffee. Go get that extra punch that Jared and Paul talked about there. Go support a great Michigan-based company and go get some coffee. All right. It's time to talk a little trucks from Kansas this past weekend. Kyle Busch picking up the win, sweeping the weekend on his birthday in the Truck Series. 61 wins through 159 starts. Anybody doing the math, that's roughly a 39% win total. And the crazy thing is that's spanning since 2001. He ran 6 races in the trucks, took a couple years off, 1 race in 2004. And then, 2005 is when he really started running that handful, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 truck races each year. Now, here's the even crazier stats. 106 of 159 top 5, 66% of the time picking up a top 5 in the Truck Series. And he's 80% finishing in the top 10. Now listen, obviously great driver, great equipment, great crew, obviously there are some extra caveats that he has that maybe some of these other drivers don't have, right? But still, to be able to go out there and do that and be that consistent for that type of stretch. Kyle Busch probably will go down as one of the all-time, obviously one of the all-time greats. The question will be, is he the all-time great in the Truck Series? And I'm going to go with yes. I don't know how you couldn't say that. Definitely king of the trucks for sure. Let's see here. Ross Chastain, second place finish. We obviously saw him go on his tear in the Truck Series last year. Picked up a few wins, got to the Final Four, moved up. Ross has just had one of those fan favorite careers, the Cinderella stories. Was going to get the ride, didn't get the ride, now has a ride. It's unfortunate that Chip Ganassi and them haven't really found a whole lot of speed this year, a lot of consistency, but great to see that watermelon truck up there at the front in a truck race. That was great. Austin Hill, Georgia boy, who's been on the show a handful of times. Third place finish. Haley Deegan, put together her best race as far as I'm concerned for the year. 13th, top 15, finish on the lead lap, kept it clean. Mile and a half of Kansas is almost an Atlanta-esque race. Tire wear is very crucial and plays a significant role. It runs a lot faster than I think some of the under mile and a halves. So for her to be able to go out there and do that, I think that's kudos and progress as the season carries along for her. Johnny Sauter with a top 10. I think that's something to be celebrated. You might say, well, it's Johnny Sauter, should be out there competing for wins. Absolutely. But after the year he had last year, you gotta, it's not going to go from that to, 6 wins. So for that team to finally start showing some consistency, they've been up there quite a bit and have been in the conversation as these races have gone on. That's for sure. I got to tell you, I am very excited for the Darlington truck race. They raced there last year. It was the first time there since 2011. So I am very excited to see the trucks run Darlington this weekend, throwing it back as well as the theme of the weekend. And again, the crazy thing is, there's only 8 truck races left before the playoffs. So is it a little premature to maybe talk playoffs and Xfinity Series, Cup Series? Maybe not, just because of all of the different winners that we've had. So it's a fun conversation to have. But as far as time crunching and all that, I mean, it's time to go in the Truck Series. Only 8, and that's not many. And it's, I know the season's going to end in November, but when you think about all the off weeks and, when we, Cup 36 races, Xfinity 33, the trucks only have 26 races, I believe it is in total. So, you start thinking about the playoffs very early in the Truck Series. But so, yeah, there's that. Friday night, truck race in Darlington. It's the only night race of the weekend. I am stoked to watch these trucks go run Darlington at night on Friday. So there's that. Xfinity, they had an off week this past week. They'll be back at it. We're going to have all 3 series to talk about next week, which is exciting. Xfinity, Saturday, 1 o'clock. I would have loved if they did a night race for Xfinity. Why not take advantage of it? We're used to getting a cup race at night. I'm a little bummed that wasn't the case, but hey, it is what it is. We got racing, so that's all that matters. Okay, let's talk about the fiasco that was the Sunday Cup race at Kansas. The Bushy McBush 400. I mean, the name alone just screams chaos, and that's what we got at the end of this thing. Well, all right. So as I mentioned a minute ago, Kyle Busch picks up the win, sweeps the weekend, wins on his birthday, sweeps birthday weekend. I mean, obviously has been a really good boy to get that kind of luck and have all the right equipment and everything fall into place. Oh, not to mention the guy can drive the hell out of a car, truck, whatever he's in. So there's that. We'll get to him in just a minute. Got to talk about the tire here, right? It was so much frustration, so much nonsense in terms of NASCAR and what went down there. I know that they addressed what happened there in terms of, it was far enough away and out of pit road that they wanted to let the green flag stops go by. Great. But they're also not going to let the guy go and get it. They're not going to let a pit crew guy go get it, so they got to throw it, so it is such a unique situation there where, all right, if it's not impactful enough to where it's going to impact green flag pit stops with a busy pit road, at some point that tire's got to get collected. So you either got to throw a caution so that it can get collected, or you take the very, very small risk and let the pit crew guy go and get it once green flag stops have cycled through, and go from there, which I understand, it's such a catch-22, and when that throws, it just looks bad is all it does, and it's a shame that, the racing is going to be overshadowed by that there, which is a bummer. But let's talk about what did happen. Got to talk about Kyle Larson. Dominant day. Very well could have won the damn thing. I don't understand the thought process there. Basically driving through Blaney, there wasn't a whole lot to happen. Blaney didn't have anywhere to go. It's just a matter of you need to show some patience there, which, hey, they're race car drivers. I get that word is not in their vocabulary, but that was all that was going to happen, because if you spin him, which is what happened, he wasn't going to go anywhere, and there wasn't any room below them for him to get out of the way for you to make the pass yet. So I don't understand that situation. That ruined a day for a lot of lap traffic fantasy players, myself included. But we'll get to that in a minute. Well, a few minutes. Got to talk about Matt D. Solid run. Backed up a solid finish at Talladega, where the surprise maybe not as big of a or the finish was not as big as a surprise, but for him to back that up at an intermediate with a top 5 is very solid. Maybe they're going to be able to start putting some things together. Harvick with another solid day. Maybe we're going to finally start seeing what we expect out of SHR, or maybe more specifically the 4 car. The organization as a whole still has a lot of work to do. Cole and Chase, young guys, need to take advantage of Kevin and his mentorship while he's still around. So, the expectations of what, we're going to get out of those 2 cars, isn't as high. And, if we could start seeing some consistent top 15s out of Cole and Briscoe, I think that would be solid. It's really that 10 car and Eric Almirola that has been there a minute, is consistent enough. The team has had speed in the past, and, they really should be able to be up there, competing for top 10s a little bit more than what they are, and hopefully they'll be able to start doing that. We're going to Darlington. Kevin dominated last year, so who knows? Maybe this weekend is the spark that starts the wins for Harvick this year, but we're going to just have to wait and see. Got to give some props to McDowell, who, kind of like Matt DiBenedetto, backed up a solid day from Talladega last week, where anything can happen. Not as surprising to see McDowell and Matt D getting good finishes at Talladega, but to see them get solid finishes at an intermediate is really good, and even more good, and even more kudos to the 34 team and their efforts this past week. And hell, even Suarez with some speed, picking up an 11th place finish. Chris Buescher with a top 10. And I got to give a huge shout out to Tyler Reddick, who showed speed all day. You guys know I can't wait for that 8 car to get to victory lane. Some guys we wouldn't have expected with some great finishes out there on Sunday. Tire wear was big this weekend. Kansas is not an easy track to get around. Like I said a couple minutes ago, it might be the closest mile and a half to Atlanta in terms of tire wear and all that. We saw some parity out there on Sunday. I really enjoyed Saturday night and Sunday afternoon's races. I know there were some caveats thrown in there that we could have done without, but I thought it was pretty decent. Okay. Kyle Busch, 58 wins through 581 starts. Obviously, the win percentage isn't quite what it is in the Truck Series, but his top 10s are pretty solid. 322, 55% of the time, Kyle Busch is getting a top 10. This win puts Kyle Busch 7th on the all-time win list. He and Kevin Harvick were tied at 58. He's now the lone driver. At 57. He's now the lone driver at 58, 7th overall. Highest among active drivers. Obviously, Kevin's going to throw the towel in sooner than he will. It'll be just very, very awesome to watch him go up that list as we're watching history in the making. And that's something that's special and something to take to bask in and know that you're watching something special that we may not see for quite some time. And of course, obviously, 10 winners through 11 races, just 2 races away from the halfway point in the regular season, with still a couple guys, some big names that we obviously expect to win. Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and can we get another, could Kurt Busch pick up a win? Now we really are talking, 13, 14, different winners. And that's some exciting talk to have there, which you want to talk about how awesome is that segue to the question that I posed to you guys. What is more important to you, the different amount of winners or more evenly distributed bonus points once we reset? So let's get to your tweeted responses. 83 fan at Waddle3 Cody. More parity in the playoff points. Mick at GoDucks42_Mick. More parity between the playoff drivers. When the points are close, it makes each round more intense. Jeff at JBev1789, going with no format changes. Another show ? Is parity. Eliminates any points racing with not having a huge advantage to start each round, and I feel as though they can earn advancing to the next round that much more. Higher entertainment when the first 9 races matter. I'm with you 100%, and yeah, hey, maybe that'll be one for another show, or hell, that could be a show in and of itself. Elliot at H Elliott 94. I stopped caring about the championship after 2013. Honestly, just here for the races. Hey, I get that. A lot of people are not fans of the playoff format at all, and would rather go back to the old school format. I get that. I really do. Bob at Jumpy Bob. I thought I was getting used to this playoff format. What was it? Add 1,000 points after every round. 2,000. Math is hard. I see what you did there, Jumpy Bob. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fan. Playoff points for sure. Makes each week in the playoffs more intense and matter more for everyone in it. Scott at 1985 Wagner, winners in the regular season is most important. My tweak on current format for the playoffs: after the first round, only 5 points per win, 1 per stage point for 2 through 10 in stages. Shouldn't move also. Yeah, that could possibly work. And you guys are actually going to hear from Scott a little later in the show, as he was one of this week's weekly highs in lap traffic fantasy. Scott's could call and make his picks. Matthew at CH9SE fan, I think 16 is too many to begin with. Make it 12. 4 races down to 8, 4 races down to 4, 2 races, best finish total as champ. I get behind that. I've said for years that 16 was too many. Half your field shouldn't make the playoffs as far as I'm concerned. I think 12 is the perfect number in Cup. 10 was probably the sweet spot in Xfinity. And I think they had it right on the money with 8 in the Cup, or I'm sorry, in the truck race. And they upped that. You know, I get it from a sponsor. It probably brings in some extra money, or it might get a sponsor if you're able to say, hey, we made the playoffs, which is, you know, that very well may be a sponsor saver and all that kind of stuff. And I totally get that from the business side of things, as Striegel and I have talked about before. But the fan in me, the fan alone in me, thinks 12 would be perfect for sure. Let's see. Did I miss any on that page? No. Okay. Taylor at _Taylor Kitchen _ parity in points makes things interesting and heartbreaking. We could see some unexpected drivers work their way into the round of 8, and we can see the best drivers crumble. It creates unpredictability and really shows who can outrun the rest when everything is even points wise. I feel you. Icy the Colt at Icy Colt. Go back to the 2013 format with 10 drivers in the chase, no stage racing, no playoffs. Yeah, that goes right back to what I said a minute ago. Yeah, I get a lot of people would love to have that format back for sure. And Brian, Storm and B81, I like the parity in the playoff. You know, some people probably won't make it past the first round, but also we could be surprised with someone making it out of the first round for sure. All right, here's my takeaway. We've got 15 drivers with playoff points. 11 drivers are only separated by 6 playoff points. To me, that is huge if that parity can keep up through race 26, because then that means the first round, which we could usually just chop off the bottom 4 with a few exceptions thrown in the mix. Now that first round becomes exciting because it's more of an even playing field with the playoff points. I love the wins. I want 17 different winners, just like the next guy, but keeping it into perspective that the fact and the chances of that are lower, having the bonus points spread out more throughout the field, maybe more consistency through spots 10 and 16 when we reset. That first round will be that much more interesting. You know, the fact that we don't have 2 guys with 25 playoff points halfway through, keeping this thing knotted up a little bit more is, I think, going to create a much better finish to this season. Now, we get 17 different winners. Well, then that just forces the parity in the points to be spread out. So, and that would just be freaking awesome. So we'll see what happens. Thank you to everyone for all your tweeted responses, and look forward to hearing about what you guys have to say about Darlington. All right, let's get to a little Lap Traffic social media. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. Listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or your favorite hosting site. You can even tell Alexa to play The Lap Traffic Podcast, so go tell your friends. The giveaway, oh my goodness, so close. Picked up a bunch of new followers over the weekend, less than 100 away from giving away the Clint Boyer Dogcast and the Lap Traffic swag. Thank you to everybody that continues to tweet that out to help get that follower count up to 5,500 and to give away some cool stuff. And speaking of new followers, we've got Hunter at Rowdy Bullens, gas man for all 3 series, which is awesome. Hunter, might need to get you on the show and talk about some pit stops and all that good stuff. Kev at Kevin _Rit, NASCAR fan, Detroit Tigers fan based on his header photo. Go Tigers, man. Scott at Elliott9 E-Dodge, chasing Bill Elliott fan from North Carolina. Kaylee at Kaylee Harko 18, a Chase fan from Carlisle, England. I love it. Cross-country fan and follower. I love it. John at Fan Hendrick 24, proud American and an HMS fan. Yes, sir. Esports at EGC Empire, huge e-racing streamer community from Kansas. Hope you guys enjoyed the racing this past weekend. Jeff at the Racing Table, tech guy, former country music singer that loves NASCAR. Hell yeah. Guys, if anybody wants stickers, koozie, all you got to do is go to the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, fill out the contact page, and I will be happy to send one to you for free. And there is the store on the website. Anybody wants t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all that good stuff, go check it out. Got t-shirts, $15. Let's see here. I think that's about it for social media. Let's get Mr. Brian Neudorff on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with Aaron Studwell, keeping us up to date on everything going on weather-wise in our wonderful sport of NASCAR. Welcome back to the show. It's Mr. Brian Neudorff. Sir, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. Hey, another Tuesday night, man. 2:38. Let's keep them going. So it's all good over here, man.
I feel like you should be taping this like after the big announcement, like, where they have rocket ships as cars and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. You leak some stuff and then it just isn't as the pomp and circumstance is gone. There was a guy, one of the followers, Matt at CH9SE fan, had like a great idea that NASCAR should have done. And that was like, why, you're going to Darlington, which has got so much history and nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. Like, why not take one of the cars of each generation, line them up, have a cover over the other one, and reveal it like on national television in front of fans? Like they could have done a lot more to create that build and that hype, and they didn't do that. So.
Well, I know.
But hey, it's
they should have just waited for a rain delay and then did something.
I mean, there's that. What a way to debut the new car and new rain tires on the oval.
No, just have him located someplace where it's not raining and have like Gordon and and Clint Boyer.
Right? Absolutely.
I know. I mean, it's not like hell, throw Jimmy Johnson in there or get see if you could borrow Dale from NBC for a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. You guys had a pretty easy weekend this past weekend, which had to be.
There was it tried to flirt a little bit, but generally speaking, it wasn't bad.
Excellent. All right. Well, we had the draft this past week. The Lions, didn't take a tight end, which is good. Michigan, though, man, had 8 players drafted, which is pretty cool. How'd your Purdue boys do? They go anywhere?
I had one. I'm going to be honest. Like I think I told you off air. I'm going to be honest. I really, didn't pay much attention, to be perfectly honest. I hate to say that, but I really didn't. I guess I did a Google search to help me find out if any more besides Rondell Moore was drafted. And the one thing I noticed is that Big Ten Daily, no Michigan State players were drafted in 2021. So that's got to make you feel pretty good.
Well, I mean, listen, I'll feel pretty good when we start beating Michigan State, 7 out of 10 times, and we can beat Ohio State 1 out of 32 times, like that'll make me feel real good. Like, that's great. These kids are going to go get paydays and all that, which is awesome. But I want Michigan back doing Michigan things of old, back growing up as a kid watching Lloyd Carr, put together, a powerhouse top 5 team year in, year out. That's what I miss. It's great. Basketball's coming that way, from Beeline and all that over to Howard now. Like, Michigan basketball is a destination. People want to come play here for basketball now, which is awesome. But man, I'm ready for Michigan football to start doing some Michigan football things. But who knows? We'll see.
So I did some research, and so yes, Rondell Moore was in the 2nd round. We had a guy in the 4th round. We had 2 picked up as undrafted free agents.
Okay, cool.
So
cool. That's better than most of the Big Ten. So that's
for being and we're Purdue,
right? That'll help. That's a recruiting tool to the young kids. Hey, we had X amount go into the draft. So that's.
And I feel bad. Exactly. And I have to feel like, as I'm not bringing my A game to your wonderful audience this week, I will explain to it's been a long week and it's only Tuesday as we're recording this, but we've had our share of severe weather. I thought I was going to have to go in early this morning. And so, you're constantly waiting for that phone call, which doesn't come. So you're just never sleeping well. So I'm a little bit on the tire side and I'm low energy. So
no worries.
You can fire me for not bringing my A game. It's like, it's basically, I basically crashed on the pace lap. Okay. That's where I'm at.
Hey, at least it's not a Montoya crash. So you're good.
He did. No, it wasn't Montoya. Wait, no, I don't think it was Guerrero at the Indianapolis 500 where the pole sitter, crashed on the pace lap.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. That was 2 years ago that happened, right?
Oh no. That happened a long time ago. I think it was also the same year for the closest finished.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken,
God,
it's possible.
Something in the.
I think there was somebody. I don't think it was the pole. But yeah, we've had a few guys who don't start or have issues.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't think it was, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, let's see, man. Darlington throwback weekend. It's a big weekend for the sport.
It is.
Will you take any?
But not
this
big
weekend.
It's a big weekend, but not big enough to have both Aaron and I on. So that's when it's a big weekend.
It's a big weekend. Yes.
But that's up to our scheduler. So he apparently didn't think it was.
I don't have an intern at the moment. So there's all that. Yeah, that's a blunder on my part there.
You and your intern. You know what I have to say to that? Boo freaking who? Okay.
Oh man, it was nice to have an intern. Do some PR work and all that kind of stuff, and remind me of things. Like I need one of those.
Hey Alexa. I didn't finish because I didn't want didn't want it to go off.
I almost said mine, and I'm like, yep, I don't need my cell phone.
See?
Off. Yep.
It just told me, sorry, I don't know that.
Right?
So, or you could say, hey, Google, which I don't have, or the other one, hey, Siri.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't want to say because then she'd pick up and be like, what? And yeah, that would make for good radio. It's a big weekend. We got all three running this weekend, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. What are we looking like?
Let me take a look here at the old forecast for Darlington. Overall, as of this point, it looks like a mostly dry forecast. I'm going to put a little caveat on that because it is Tuesday.
Yep.
And, I've got a system over the weekend for us that's potentially going to bring some heavy rain to the Ohio Valley for the weekend. There were some indications. Again, this is way out there. So we always need to preface this because you record so early. I'm not going to go. I would never say completely dry forecast because, again, I've seen these change time and time again. But generally speaking, right now things are looking dry. So maybe we can have another quiet weekend. Actually, the nice thing is I'm off all weekend and even Monday. But we said we weren't going to talk about this. There's no jokes, but the pain aspect of trying to buy a car for an 18-year-old. So that has been also preoccupying. I'm not going to go into details. He had a life lesson. He's okay. Everybody's okay. But
excellent.
As a parent, you get that frantic phone call about a car accident. So everybody's doing well. That's what's important.
Yes.
Not making any jokes of it. I mean, it's a valuable lesson, but still, it's still tough because he just bought my old car from me back over the summer. So.
Yeah. Hey, it's better to learn those things early, and you can always get a new car. So that's excellent. Good deal there. Well, hopefully you're able to take in some of Darlington, throwback, all that good stuff throughout the weekend there, because it's marks the year spot of when we came back last year, which is pretty cool. And Darlington put on some great racing last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just get all the. Here's a new thing. If your track doesn't have a good race, we just scrap it. No, let's hope the next generation car or whatever they're calling it is better than the brick of tomorrow.
Right. We can only hope.
See, at least I remember the COT or whatever they kept calling it. Remember those days?
I do, man. I remember those braces, man, on that front of the car.
I think Tony Stewart referred to it as a brick on wheels.
Yes. Yeah. He not a fan. Not a fan.
He was not. No, he was not a fan. No, I always wondered why we couldn't go. I mean, I understood from the safety standpoint. And first of all, let me just say, after we lost Dale Sr., the safety aspects have been amazing.
Oh, of course.
The safety thing has been amazing. But the biggest thing is, you wish you kind of like could find a way to take that style, the aerodynamics of that car.
Yep.
And then I always thought to myself, I never felt like we got the same kind of level since that situation. If I was like, could they find a way to make the same aero with the same safety?
Right.
I know. Just
well,
possibly.
If they all got them, loaded, kissing the ground basically now, and that, is part of the problem, but adds to the safety aspect, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, I'm with you. But hey, who knows? We can critique it once it's out there. So we'll see what happens next year when we get this bad boy out there on the road. Exactly. Well, and I know this makes me sound like really still fairly new to the sport. Then again, maybe not, but I've only really been a fan of NASCAR for 20 years now. This is my 20th season of a full-time NASCAR fan. That makes two of us. I got into it my senior year of high school, which was 2001. So
it was 2000. I was watching I had always paid attention, especially for the Brickyard because of where I was from.
Sure.
I remember, but I pretty much from Daytona when we lost Senior in 2001 to this point has made me was a full-time fan of the sport.
Sure.
Like listening, like I remember in 2001 driving to Austin, Minnesota for a job interview. And it was also the time I learned that I really need to be careful listening to NASCAR races, especially on a road course, and then driving at the same time.
I could see where like that what do they call that? That inner thing, like, oh man, I'm drawing like a total.
Well, I mean, listen, this just tells me, I mean, first of all, and I understand why they do this, but I mean, and don't get me wrong, the TV guys, I was a TV guy for 18 years. They're good, but there's something to be said about the radio guys who have to, not only do they have to tell you what's going on, but they have to almost paint a verbal picture.
Absolutely.
So you know what's going on. And I mean, in today's day and age, it's so hard, but I always and I do this even with football and basketball. I love having a radio play and the visual, so you get to hear and you get to see and that kind of stuff. And I mean, there's nothing like, I mean, I think maybe part of it's too, I mean, because I grew up not very far from or grew up like 5th grade on in Indianapolis, and if I wasn't going to the 500, you couldn't watch it. It was blacked out. You had to wait till the night of. And so, I think that's another reason why I missed so many Coke 600s, because I was too busy watching the 500, the replay, because I didn't, know what's going on. Or I would have to be in Terre Haute. But like a lot of times I would have to listen to it on the radio. And, and of course it is the month of May. So we'll hopefully get that, get all that stuff. But so, yeah, I mean, I love NASCAR on the radio. That's Absolutely. Still one of my favorite things.
The weather was picture perfect up here Sunday, and so it was like, man, we've had so many rainy and cold days. We want to be outside. So yeah, no, I hooked up the PA speaker and had Jeff Striegel blasted for the neighbors to listen to. So yeah, I enjoy a great broadcaster, and obviously Jeff Striegel's one. You got a good baseball broadcaster to where you'd rather not watch the TV and listen to the baseball. I mean, that's just a knack that's not something you can teach, and it's just a skill that you have to be able to captivate an audience via audio only for a sport such as baseball. So and NASCAR.
Here's a poll question for you.
Yes.
Just because it brought it up on our thing. Hey, I mean, and we don't mean it. And again, I want to be very honest. I don't want to knock TV. I mean, there's so many great graphics. There's so many cool things that they can show visually.
Sure. Yeah.
But still, I want to ask, I would love to ask the Lap Traffic Nation, and I'll share this one too.
Okay.
What's better, watching NASCAR or listening to it on the radio?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can get that out.
I like to see. I think we know what the answer is going to be, but maybe people may surprise us.
It's a good possibility.
So,
it's possible. It's possible.
There may be a whole generation. That's like, a radio. What?
Right,
What's this thing?
It's this dial.
For those of you who don't know, it's
dial
something else.
You speak of.
It's something you can stream on the internet as well.
Right,
okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I love my TuneIn. I'm plugging things now, and we don't even have sponsors for them. I love my TuneIn radio app.
Right, there you go.
Love it. I love it. I don't even pay for it, but I still love it because I know what like local channels to find these races and stuff on.
Absolutely. Alrighty, sir. Well, listen, you have a great rest of the week. Hopefully things slow down a little bit for you. Hopefully you're able to enjoy Darlington. And everybody, make sure you follow Brian on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN and Aaron Studwell at Race Weather as we get closer to race weekend here. Sir.
Sounds like a plan.
Great to have you back. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
I'll bring my A+ game next 2 weeks from now.
Excellent. Perfect. All right, man. We'll catch you soon. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. Great to catch up with Mr. Brian Neudorff. Right now, though, it is time for this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down segment. You guys know the drill. Tweet your picks, or you can call the Wave Around hotline 248-965-9538 and leave your picks there. My Lucky Dog race weekend, plain and simple. It's the birthday boy, Kyle Busch. My Lap Down. It's another Kyle, only it's Kyle Larson, because that messed up mine and a lot of other live traffic fantasy picks there. Let's get to your tweeted responses. Scott at 1985 Wagner's Lucky Dog. Tyler Riddick, late race penalty, and got a top 10. Lap down, Denny Hamlin, take the lead, take the wall. Ain't that the truth? Jeff at JBev1789's a Lucky Dog. Kyle Busch, Samantha Busch. Hopefully that win gives them at least a couple minutes to think about something else. Thoughts are with them, 100%. A lap down, the 550 horse package is great for exciting restarts, but that's about it. Ready for the next gen. Brian at Stormin B81. I listened to it as I was driving today, but just from listening, I'd have to say Lucky Dog, Chris Buescher getting a top 10. Lap down, Larson for, again, not being able to close the deal. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragons, Lucky Dog. Bushy McBush in the 18 car. Lap down, the call for the caution after the 17 makes his pit stop. Flag should have come out as the event takes place, not to the convenience of the sponsors. More inconsistencies with the button pusher. Love it. Jeremy at Living Room War Wagon. Let's see. Lap down, Hamlin. Dude's been solid all season and still goose egg for wins. Lucky Dog, Chase Elliott finished better than performance of late. # LT Fantasy. Eddie at Eddie_EG3, Lucky Dog. Rowdy Busch brought the brooms on his birthday weekend in Kansas. Lap down, Denny seems like he can't cash the opportunity in 21 to get to victory lane. Jess at Iowa NASCAR Fans, a Lucky Dog. Kyle Busch finally gets to victory lane, had a strong car all day. Lap down, NASCAR officiating with the whole tire in the infield debacle. That's unacceptable and inexcusable. I like that. David at DFlint14. Haven't heard from you in a minute, brother. Lucky Dog, Rodney Childers for bringing Kevin Harvick in for tires, battling back to P2. Lap down, NASCAR for leaving the tire there as long as they did. It's either a safety issue or it isn't. Lisa at LL Chananas, a Lucky Dog. Me, finally picked a winner. Didn't waste a pick. Thank you, Kyle Busch. Told you he was due. Yes, you did. I do remember seeing that. Lap down, NASCAR. And that let's wait 15 laps until we call a caution. I like that. Carson at Carson Hagelin. Lucky Dog goes to Matt D for finishing 4th, having 3 top 10s in a row. A lap down to Kyle Larson for ending a dominant day with a 19th place finish. Chris at USMC_NASCAR Fire. Lucky Dog, Matty D fought issues all day, raced back to 4th. A lap down, Larson came from the back to having it slip away at the end. Checkers or wreckers at Yellow Oler. Lucky Dog goes to Kevin Harvick with those 4 fresh tires and finishing second. A lap down goes to JTG. Evan Bell take them both out at the end. And Jumpy Bob closing it out. Lucky Dog, the poor used up Goodyear tire sitting all alone out in the grass. All embarrassed him, briefly the center of attention. A lap down, all them folks, obviously smarter than I am, that make a sport out of running the tower. Ha like that. All right, those are your tweeted responses. Let's get to your calls on the Wave Around Hotline.
Hi, Brandon. It's Matt at Camper News Net. What an incredible finish to the Cup Series race at Kansas. I'm going to call it this. Was an absolute wreck fest at the end of the race today. And if it wasn't for that, I think Kyle Larson, no question about it, absolutely dominant all day. He would have won this race if it wasn't for the wreck fest that occurred at the end of the Cup race. I really feel bad for Kyle Larson. I do feel, obviously, I think, as she said on Twitter on Sunday, it's going to shake things up in the fantasy league. That's honestly what I love about the Lap Traffic Fantasy League. You know, that's what I feel, especially 10 winners in 11 races now. Absolutely incredible. And, you know, it's really competitive in the Lap Traffic Fantasy League this year. And that's what I love about it, competitiveness. And, you know, keep things really exciting. But anyway, on to my lucky dogs for this week. I got 3. First, Kyle Busch. Getting the win on his birthday, that's absolutely incredible in that matter. And especially, it's not that often we get to say that a driver wins on their birthday. I don't know exactly how many times it's been that a driver has won on their birthday, but that, you know, puts an icing on the cake in my opinion. Kyle Busch winning on his birthday is absolutely special. My second lucky dog is going to go to Matty D. Top 5 finish today. Very good for the team. Very happy for Matty D, and hopefully that trend will continue. And my third lucky dog this week, I'm very happy to say I'm going to be at Dover coming up actually a week from Sunday. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to, you know, giving my thoughts on the race on the Lucky Wave Around Hotline after the race at Dover. My lap down's going to go to Kyle Larson. Had a dominant day, and then, you know, the wreck fest just messed that all up, and I feel bad for Kyle Larson on that. So anyway, as always, Brandon, Lap Trap Nation, enjoy your week, and I'll talk to you next weekend after the race at Darlington, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you so much, Brandon. Take care. Bye.
Oh, Matt, thanks so much for calling in, man. Appreciate you as always. I'm going to piggyback off your lap down with Kyle Larson there and just kind of say, you got to feel for Ryan Blaney too. I get he was kind of holding Larson up a little bit, wasn't getting up to speed nearly as fast as Larson. I get you. It's hard to have patience when it's go time, right? And if he would have just shown a touch more patience, then, maybe Blaney would have gotten up to speed. Maybe Larson would have been able to pass him at some point. But I mean, he just drove right through him. And I don't understand that, because it was just wrecking both their days. There was only one direction for Blaney to go. He was either going to go into the wall, which Larson would have then hit him, or he was going to go below him, which was going to force Larson up into the wall, which is exactly what happened there. So, yeah, I don't get what the thought process was there for sure. But, yeah, man, have fun a couple weeks at Dover for sure. Look forward to hearing from you as well. All right, let's get to the next call on the Wave Around Hotline. It's the voice of the Wave Around Hotline.
What's going on with my Traffic Nation voice of the Wave Around Hotline at Racing Kansas? I think most fans of any sport, and it can be any sport you can imagine, one of the most frustrating things that we as fans talk about is, instead of the on-track, on-field court, whatever sport we're talking about, is when the water cooler conversation is not about what you saw in terms of the sport, it's in terms of the officiating. And I think that's going to be a common theme this week's Kansas leading into Darlington. I don't necessarily think they made the wrong decision for the tire caution, but it's frustrating when the end of a race is dominated by not what we saw on track. And we didn't really see a good race on track. I think that late caution kind of, saved it in a sense and definitely made it more entertaining. But at the end of the day, I still don't know if what we saw was a race that said, you know what, that was a good race, and it's going to really not build up as much to just one week after the other. Now, with that being said, we're going to Darlington next week, and we have the big motor at Darlington and the little blade at Darlington. So we're probably going to see the best damn race of the year at Darlington, and I can't wait for that. My lucky dog of the week is going to be James Dennis championshipless Hamlin driving into the wall and losing a race. That was hilarious, even though it killed me in lap traffic fantasy, but that's okay. I'm accepting of that. Lap down's also going to be the whole officiating rant I just went on, and I've got to give a lucky dog this week. So let's go with KSB, Kyle Busch, throwback at Darlington. Can't wait.
Oh, Mr. Andrew Canty, yes, sir. Who's been on a little bit of a hot streak lately, which is awesome. I love it. Canty, man, yeah, the whole NASCAR tire thing. You're going to throw it. Like I talked a little bit ago about. Geez, I can talked about a little bit ago. For me, it's two things. One, tires sitting out there in the infield grass, and it's like, all right, we're going to let it sit there, then decide to throw a caution. I get the whole possibility of a crew guy getting into harm's way if guys were to slide across and all that kind of stuff, which is why they wouldn't allow him to go over the wall and get it and roll it back, which would have taken all of 20 seconds. I get the potential risk with that, with maybe somebody getting loose, sliding across, turn through, while rare, I get the risk there and why they're not able to do that. On the flip side, if there's so great a risk in not letting them do that, and that tire there could, then it shouldn't have taken 10 laps to throw that. So, yeah, I get it, and I totally get where you're coming from in terms of you never want it to be about the officiating. You always want it to be about the on-track, whether it's on the field, football, an umpire, missing a blown call at first base that would have allowed a Detroit Tiger to get a perfect game a few years ago. Never forget. I feel you. I totally get that. So, yeah, I'm with you. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this week's Lucky Dog Lap Down segment. Cannot wait for next week after Darlington. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, it is time to close this thing out with some Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. We're picking for all 3 series this week. Keep the Twitter interaction up. Use the hashtag LTFantasy. Only 2 races to go in segment 1, and we're going to crown a winner. But right now, joining me on the line, longtime follower, listener, and fantasy player. You can follow him on Twitter at 1985 Wagner. It's Scott Wagner. Scott, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Just enjoying the nice weather we got down here in the Midwest.
Oh, man.
We had fall again now.
Shit, man. We had that exact same thing. Like, it was 75, beautiful, sunny Sunday. Then yesterday it rained all day. Today it barely cracked like 55. Yeah, I am ready for some consistent 70-degree weather for sure. But listen, man. First off, listen, I got to tell you, I love each week when I post about the show and you retweet it with ear candy and a picture of that car, man. Tell everybody what that hobby is you're working on over there with 4 wheels.
Oh, it's a date night car for the wife and I. 65 Mustang V8 4-speed car.
Yes.
So just got some interior left to do. Waiting to get it over the exhaust shop so I can. It's street legal other than no exhaust on it, and the cops don't give me funny looks when I drive around the neighborhood with it. So
you've been working that thing for a minute, man.
Yeah, I've had the car a year and a half now.
Okay.
So like I said, just needs exhaust, and I've got the street legal part down, and then I just got to do the body work and reupholster the seats, put a headliner and a new dash pad in it, and she'll be good to go.
So it'll be out on the road this summer for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. Well, listen, hey, what'd you think about the racing this weekend at Kansas?
It was definitely entertaining, that's for sure.
Right. Whether that's good or
My
bad.
DVR didn't cooperate for me on the truck race, unfortunately, but for what I read and everything else on it, it sounded like it was pretty interesting run for them too.
Truck race was good. I mean, Kyle Busch ran away with it, but as long as you can kind of, appreciate what's going on behind him and who's able to compete and give him, some fits every once in a while. Yeah, no, it was I really enjoyed the truck race Saturday night. So yeah, no, it was pretty good. That's for sure. Listen, man, let's see here. 109 points. You and two other guys scored the highest points possible this weekend. Nice job with the picks there. You are unfortunately 85th in the standings, but so you got a little work to do. But hey, we reset in 2 weeks, so everything's back square. So hopefully you'll have a little bit better segment too.
Yeah, hopefully I quit jinxing the doggone drivers.
Well, see, all right. So I had 8 straight weeks of a plus movement in the standings, and I fell 1 spot this week. Could have picked up a spot or two, but Kyle Larson had to go make a mess of things for me and half the Lap Traffic fantasy players. But but that's okay. All right, let's reset the top 10 here. Still in first place, stretching it out a little bit, is Fred Leclerc with 998 points. In second with 974 is John Entwistle. In third with 970 is Henry Fletcher. In fourth with 964 is Jess Rose. In fifth with 960 is Michael Mason. In sixth with 949 is Brad Carnes. In seventh with 940 is yours truly, the Lap Traffic Podcast. In eighth with 936, and I love the fact that I'm ahead of them by 4 points, is the MOATF podcast. In ninth with 926 is the Blind Spot podcast. And in 10th with 923 is David Mullins. So a couple podcasts represented up there in the top 10, which is cool. Hopefully we hear Scott's name up there when we reset. And we've got, with bonus points, we've got Henry Fletcher, John Entwistle. Scott, you got 3 bonus points. So if you can make the playoffs, you got some bonus points that are going to carry through for you, man. And Tony LeBay all have 3, and then a bunch of 2s and 1s and all that good stuff. So, yeah, man, hopefully segment 2 is a little kinder to you.
I hope so. Well, Kyle kind of killed me at Bristol. I figured, well, you know what? He doesn't make the moniker for the playoffs, so, I'm going to pick him both. And then everybody decided they didn't want him to be in the top 38 of each race. So
right, absolutely. I hear you there 100%. All right, man. Well, what do you say? You ready to make some picks?
Yeah, I'm ready to go all Austin on this week.
Oh, all right. Little teaser there. All right, Lapped Traffic fantasy players, we are headed to Darlington to throw it back this weekend and remember some iconic paint schemes of our favorite drivers of the past. Last year, Kevin Harvick dominated him and Denny Hamlin at Darlington. They each have picked up a couple. Well, Kevin picked up 2 wins, Denny with 1, and they had some battles for sure. Let's see here. Both are still searching for their first win of 2021. Will either of those 2 guys get to throw it back to victory lane? Former throwback winner Eric Jones picked up 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s last year at Darlington. Does anyone gamble on the 43 this weekend? With only 2 more weeks to go in segment 1, who'd you say for the home stretch? Who can put together that perfect 3-race weekend in Lap Traffic Fantasy? Who gets their stripes? We'll find out this weekend. But first, it is time for our pick. Scott, we'll start with you. Who do you have for the Truck Series?
For the Truck Series, I'm going to take Austin Hill.
Austin Hill, solid pick. Had him this past week myself. Did pretty well for me. I like that pick. I'm going to go with, because I got to protect at this point, I'm going to go with who I think is going to be the league favorite pick this week with John Hunter Nemechek. But I do like that Austin Hill pick. Xfinity Series, sir, who you got?
I'm going to pick Austin Cindric.
Austin Cindric. I like that. I'm going to roll with the 20 of Harrison Burton this weekend in the Xfinity Series. And, sir, to close it out, who do you have left for the Cup Series?
Boy, the guys I'd like to pick, all playoffs, and I've used them already, so I'm going to pick Austin Dillon, number 3.
Ooh,
And go Austin across the board.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. He's picked up a surprise 500 win. He's picked up a surprise Coke 600 win. You know, I would not. I think that's a great pick this weekend. I love that. I was looking, and I actually have Denny Hamlin left. So I'm going to roll with the 11 Denny Hamlin this weekend and see what happens. Well, Lap Traffic Nation, those are our picks. Make sure you go follow Scott at 1985 Wagner on social media. Sir, great to have you on. Good luck this weekend, and look forward to catching up with you soon, man.
Yep, good luck to you. I can't wait to hear the podcast because I enjoy following Spencer on Twitter, so
Excellent.
He's a character.
Yes, well, the ear candy will be ready for you in about 10 or 15 minutes.
All righty, sounds good.
All right, man, we'll catch you later.
Yep, have a good one, Brandon.
Thanks, you too. We'll see you. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to do it for episode 238 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, and, of course, Twitter at Lap Traffic PC. Less than 100 to go in the giveaway. Can't wait to give that prize pack away. Huge thanks to Spencer Boyd, Paul and Jared with Five Lakes Coffee, Brian Neudorff, and Scott Wagner for calling in. Next week, he's been on Race Hub, and he's a reporter and editor at TobyChristie.com. It's Michael Carey. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya!